Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Zone to Speak podcast. I'm your host, Juliana. Hey, everyone. At Zone to Speak, I know how important it is to stay healthy, strong, and ready for every ride, workout, or adventure. That's why I have gotten some exclusive discounts on products designed for athletes. First up, Psych Plus. Their Smart Pump is a game changer. Compact, efficient, and perfect for keeping your tires road and gravel ready. Get 10% off the Smart Pump and 5% off everything else at psychplus.com. They have radar tail light, smart fans, trainers, and more. Next, 35% off Frey Skincare. Their products are specially designed for skin that sweats, perfect for athletes like you and me. I have personally been using Frey for many years and I love it. Then there is 10% off Cold Age. Their vitamins and supplements are designed to fuel your body, helping you recover faster and ride longer. I personally take the Women's Vitamin and Creatine. Finally, 15% off Omra supplements. Whether you're training, recovering, or pushing for peak performance, their high-quality supplements have got you covered. And there's something special from me, your host. As an integrative health, nutrition, and sports nutrition coach, I am thrilled to offer all of our listeners 25% off personalized nutrition coaching with Genki Wellness. If you want to optimize your health, boost performance, or simply feel your best, head to bemoregenki.com and use the code ZONE2SPEAK. For everything else, head to the links in the episode description, use the code ZONE2SPEAK at checkout, and let these amazing products support you and your journey to better health and performance. And now for the episode. All right, welcome to Zone to Speak. Today, I am thrilled to be joined by Tanja Stroschneider, a professional Austrian triathlete who is making waves in the endurance sports world. Tanja is not only a fierce competitor in triathlon, excelling in swimming, cycling, and running, but she is also a passionate advocate for sustainable health and nutrition. As a vice national champion, Tanja has pushed her limits in sprint distance triathlons and in the Ironman 70.3 series, inspiring others with her resilience and determination. Beyond triathlon, Tanja has recently embraced Hyrox, a fitness competition that combines strength and endurance, further showcasing her versatility and drive as an athlete. In this episode, we will dive into Tanja's journey in triathlon, her approach to balancing training and recovery, and how she overcame challenges like recovering from major injuries, including disc surgery, to come back stronger than ever. We will also explore her experiences with Hyrox, her perspective on how it complements endurance training, and the unique challenges it presents. Additionally, we will uncover her insights on the role of nutrition in performance and the mindset it takes to succeed at the highest levels. Get ready for an inspiring conversation with one of Austria's finest. Tanja, welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you also for the nice introduction. I appreciate. Actually, it's my first podcast in English, so I'm a little bit nervous. I hope I got all the vocabulary that I need, but yeah, also excited and yeah, happy to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. No, thank you for being here. English is also a second language to me, so it's okay. We all have accents. It's all good.
Exactly, yeah.
So you are a machine. I'm so inspired by your Instagram account. So happy that you made the time to chat with me. Tell me a little bit how you started. What was your journey into triathlon? Because, you are a professional athlete, so some people might take it as a hobby. How did it all develop for you?
Yeah, it came quite, I would say, per accident. Like when I was in kindergarten, like my best friends, they were in a swimming club because their dad was the swimming coach or the swimming teacher. And yeah, for me, it was just I meet my friends and we go and play together. And most of the time, this was in the swimming pool. So, so I don't know. I've kind of learned swimming and started practicing swimming without even noticing that this is actually training already. And I always enjoyed that. Like I always loved being in the water. And yeah, within the years, it got just more and more, I would say. Like I always enjoyed to improve. I enjoyed the training itself. So I always asked my coach, yeah, but I want to do more. I want to do more. Like we were a swimming club that was, yeah, we were also racing and taking part at swimming competitions, but it was never meant to be like I don't know, like a very competitive club. Like fun was always the main focus, and to get kids learning how to swim. And yeah, at some point I realized, well, I don't know, professional sports sounds interesting, and this is something I want to do. And I always annoyed my coach. I want to do more and more and more. And he always said, we are a club. We don't swim more. Like we swim 3 times a week and that's it, Tanya. And yeah, first leaving or going to another club was not an option because I don't know, all my friends were there and it was like, yeah, this is where I belong. And then, yeah, I don't know, I had this conversation with the swimming coach. Then one day, I think I was around 14 years old, where he told me, you know what, Tanya, if you like to train that much, maybe you should try triathlon because there you got 3 disciplines, you can train a lot. And I think this would be good for you. So yeah, I followed his advice and then switched to triathlon, like from swimming to triathlon. Yeah.
Wow. So you, since very early age, you had this drive in
Yeah.
you, competitive drive.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Always. Yeah. Yeah. And it's
And
always been something very positive for me, like racing and training and so on. Like I never experienced this as pressure. It was always just fun. Yeah.
and how do you, because you have multi distances that you do. You do sprint and you do the half Ironman races. How
hmm
do you mentally and physically prepare for the variety of the distance and the disciplines?
hmm Yeah, I would say it's quite similar. And I also have to say, like, until last year, like, my big goal has always been going to the Olympics. I didn't achieve that. Like, I wanted to be in Paris last year, 2024. I had international criteria to race there, but obviously we were 5 girls at this level in Austria, and we only had 2 spots. And then it was our federation to choose which of us, like who are the 2 girls that will race at the Olympics, and I was not one of them. So
Mhm.
of course that was a tough decision, but yeah, you have
Yeah,
to accept it anyway. And so until last year, I only raced Olympic and sprint distance, which are the 2 shorter ones.
yeah.
And after that, like after I knew that I would not be racing at the Olympics, I was like, oh, what should I do next? I've done this sport like with the shorter distances for 20 years now. Maybe it's time to try something new. And yeah, only last year I actually raced my first half Ironman races. And I have to say, of course, there was not that much time to change the training so much, but at the same time, the training it's not so different. Like, of course, short distance is a little bit more about speed, and the longer distances are more like maintaining a good speed for a very long time. But all in all, it's yeah, like from a mental aspect, I think it's not so different. Like, yeah, it's pretty similar actually. Yeah, and also I bring a lot of I don't know experience anyway, so yeah, it was not something I have to learn in a new way. It's something I always knew, okay, how do I get to races? What is mentally asked from me and so on. So yeah.
And do you think you would give it a shot again at the Olympics on the next one?
I don't know. Like maybe. Like it's 2028 in LA. We'll see. I think the good thing now is the Olympic qualification always starts 2 years before the Olympics in triathlon. So there are 2 years time now for me to decide what I want to do. Like next year, I want to focus maybe more on middle distance, like half Ironman racing, and see how that goes. And yeah, I don't know if that's where I feel that I belong right now, then I will probably stick with it. Or if I say, I don't know, biggest dreams, Olympics always been maybe I will return, but I can't tell right now. We'll see what's going to happen.
Well, that's good that you can enjoy yourself for
Yeah.
these next 2 years and see where where you are
Yeah, yeah,
and pursue that or not. That's
yeah,
good.
exactly. Yeah,
And you have been very open about your transformation through better nutrition. Can you tell me a little bit what triggered this change and what have you changed that has impacted your performance?
yeah. Like for those who don't know, in triathlon, of course, the running part is the last. So you win the race on the run.
Yeah,
And yeah, when I was very young, it already started that like people, it was coaches and people from the federation, especially, and so on. They said, "Well, Tanya, you're very successful at your level." And like I was a junior athlete at that point, so no elite athlete. But you know, the race is won on the run. And you also know the lighter you are and the less weight you have, the faster you will run. So this was kind of, they presented it as a rule. The lighter you are, the faster you run. So they told me, yeah, maybe you should consider to lose a few kilograms. And yeah, I thought I have to follow what they say. And yeah, checked my food, started to count calories and so on. And I also have to say, like at that point, I would say I had good weight. Like I was not too heavy. Like even if I check photos from that time, it was perfectly fine. I would say, like I was still a teenager, so yeah,
I
I think
have to
I
agree.
was
You
all
always
right. Yeah,
looked perfectly fine to me, but
yeah,
in
yeah,
sports, I think there has always been this stigma, pressure
yeah. Exactly,
to drop
exactly.
weight.
Yeah. So I followed what they said, and first it worked out. Like I think I lost 1 or 2 kilograms pretty quick, and they were happy. So I tried to maintain those calories I was eating, and it was not much. I didn't eat enough at that point, but I didn't know better. So I continued, and yeah, suddenly I started to gain weight, and I had no explanation for that. And of course, I was the first one to recognize that. I was panic, and I was, oh my God, I'm eating too much. So I kept reducing calories, and yeah, what happened? I kept gaining weight. So this was something, yeah, I had no explanation for. And then, of course, the other ones recognized as well. And then it was drama and panic. And Tanya, we told you you need to lose weight, not gain weight, and so on. And then I was even sent to an institute close to the training center where I trained at that point, where all the athletes of the national team were training. And they gave me a nutrition plan with 1,500 calories a day. And yeah, I was training around 25 to 30 hours a week during that time. And I was like, okay, if they say that's what I should do, then I will do it. And I kept gaining weight. And just to get an idea, like I'm 176 centimeters tall. And when I started, I was like around 65, 66 kilogram. And I gained like the highest weight I had was something over 80 kilograms. So I gained more than 10 kilograms during that time. And of
Wow.
course, like they all were thinking, yeah, there's no way you're eating that little. Yeah, you must be cheating, you must be secretly eating and stuff like that. And no one believed me. Like I was super strict. I was weighing all the food I was eating. I was counting calories. I tried to do everything perfectly. And yeah, no one believed me. I had no explanation. They had no explanation. So I got kicked out of the national team because they said I don't look like an athlete anymore. So I was all on my own.
Whoever's listening, like my jaw is dropped. Yeah, I think there's more and more. I mean, I can't wait for you to get to the end of the story, but there's more and more research now that it's not just counting calories. And I think we all know that 1,500 calories a day for someone training 25 to 30 hours, it's not enough.
Yeah, yeah. And that's also why I was so frustrated. Like I was hungry every day, at
Yeah,
every time. Yeah, I
I
was always
bet.
feeling like I'm not eating enough. I'm always hungry. This is not how I want to live. But also I had no explanation. Like no one is telling you if you eat more, you will lose weight, because that's what actually was the case. So my luck then was, but it took many, many years. Like I was on my own, not in a national team, had to figure everything out on my own for quite some years. And then by accident, I met a nutritionist in Switzerland, and we made some tests. And yeah, at the end, he told me, girl, you are not eating enough. you have to eat a lot more, and you're under fueling yourself. And I was like, I mean, look at me. I don't look like I'm not eating enough. I'm looking like I'm eating way too much, though that's not the case, and I'm hungry. And yeah, he had all the answers to my questions. And then I understood that my metabolism was just ruined. Like my body was full of inflammation, and that was why I was gaining weight. Like whenever I was eating, my body was in, I don't know, SOS mode and trying to save everything possible, was not
Yeah.
using the energy I was giving it for training or for anything else, but just for survival. And yeah, then I ate around, I don't know, 3 to 4 times the amount I was eating before. And I was losing more than 10 kilograms in half a year. I mean, I
Wow.
know this was also water because, as I said, my body also kept a lot of water because of all the inflammation and so on. But yeah, when I did that change, my metabolism was working again, was recovering. My performance got better because during that time when I ate that little, I was only sick, injured, and so on. Like I did not have the performance I had before. So yeah, I'm very lucky that I met this guy because he saved me and he saved my career. Yeah.
Yeah, how wonderful you were able to go through this process with him and starting you right. I can't say enough. Um, I do nutrition coaching, and when people ask me as well, like, what is one thing that people could do better? And I always say, eat carbs.
Yeah.
People are not eating enough carbs, and you need
Yeah.
carbs.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not
And
going to gain weight. It just
yeah,
has long-term
yeah,
damage that you can create by not
yeah,
eating properly.
yeah, exactly. And I also learned what was very important for me was to fuel yourself well throughout the day. Like I think that's a big issue most people have, or many people have. They don't eat enough during the day, and then when they come home at night and everything, or in the evening, and everything is done, they start eating. And I always compare it with a car. Like you have to put the fuel into the car before you want to drive, and that's the same for training. Like fuel yourself right before the sessions, also during the sessions. Like I completely underestimated how much of a difference it does when you, even if it's just a short sessions, when you got your carbo drink or gel or whatever, or when you have that banana or bar before the session. Like it doesn't only improve the performance itself of the session, but also you recover so much quicker. And yeah,
Yeah.
it made me a completely different athlete. So yeah.
And what is your go-to pre-meal before a race and post a race? Or
Yeah.
not race, even just a training session.
Mm. For training, it always depends on the session. Like the more or the higher intensity the session, the more carbs, of course. For racing, it's pretty basic, either oatmeal or just plain rice. So pretty boring. So when the season is done with all the racing at the end, I can't see any rice anymore. um yeah, and then it has to be simple. Like I know people always talk about clean eating and so on, and of course nutrition also has to be healthy, but for me, for example, there's also no forbidden food anymore. Like I would never do that. So sometimes it's just, I know, I had my best 10K run in a race where I was eating a chocolate donut for breakfast because it was quick carbs and I like it. So yeah, it can be, I don't know, rice cakes with jam, or I don't know, just bread with jam or banana or whatever, like whatever I need for the session. Yeah. And many times right before training, the quick carbs, so like the fast carbs, are best. So, and many times that's not what would be considered clean eating, but for training, this is the best you can do. Yeah, because you need quick energy. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Nutrition, no restriction. And the other thing is absolutely what you said. You need something that is easily digestible. So
Yeah.
plain rice, donut, or something like that, it will hit you quicker. Um, yeah, because then if you go super healthy and you have things with a lot of fiber, it just makes it hard, longer to get into your
Yeah.
bloodstream and defeats the purpose. So,
Yeah.
and how do you recover after a training session? Like, what are you eating after?
Also depends. Like for me, it's at the moment now that I added Hyrox to my yeah, as a sport. Sometimes I train 4 times a day. so many times it's when the session is finished. There's only 1 or 2 hours time to until the next session. But in general, I try to keep it like my 3 main meals, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I try to have it very balanced, and yeah, nice food, like healthy food, and the snacks are fast. Yeah, because I always try
Yeah.
to have a little snack before I get into the next session. So yeah. And after the session, whether this is a protein bar or fruits, banana, whatever, it really depends how much time I have until the next session starts. So it's always a little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask actually, like how, how is your training like? You know, you have to do 3 disciplines for triathlon: swim,
Yeah.
bike, run,
Yeah.
but then you also have Hyrox now.
Yeah.
So how does it work? Especially to ensuring recovery and avoiding burnout.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tricky. Like for recovery, I always say nothing beats a good sleep and a good amount of sleep. Like before I would think of all the other recovery methods, I would always make sure that my sleep is on point, and that is hard enough. I would say even if you like, eh, the more if you have a very busy life, and that's the case for me.
Hmm.
And yeah, time management, I would say. And also I have to say, I'm doing this like sports for 20 years now, professional sports. So it's nothing, it's not something that I'm doing just 1 or 2 years. Like I have the experience, my body is used to it a lot. My body is used to train a lot. Like this is something you have to develop over many, many years.
Yeah.
And I also have the experience now what I have to do. So I I would say I also got the idea what sessions I can skip or where I don't have to work that much because, for example, my basic endurance is already pretty good, so I can focus more on other stuff. So a lot of it is experience and also having a good feeling for the body, which is also something I've developed over the years. So yeah, and the rest is time management and yeah, sleep, 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 good food, good nutrition, fueling myself well. So those are the main aspects I would say I focus on. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you said that I mean, it's not surprising, it's common sense, but nobody has brought up before, which is time management. And I guess, I mean, obviously that plays a big role, especially you that you're doing so many things. And how did High Rocks came about, and how did you get interested and manage everything? Like how is those competitions? Tell me a little bit more and
Yeah.
explain maybe for the listeners that don't know what is High Rocks.
Yeah. So Hyrox is, many people would probably consider it as a very strength-oriented sport. And of course, strength is an important factor, but actually it's much more of an endurance sport, I would say. You have to run 8 times 1 kilometer and you start with running. So you run 1K, then you have one workout, then you again run 1K, one workout, and this 8 times without a break. And the fastest one wins the race. And workouts are, for example, you have to push a sled, a heavy sled, and pull a sled. You have to do 100 wall balls, which is the last workout. So you have 8 of these workouts, and in between you always have a 1 kilometer run. And the whole race, for me, it takes just over an hour at the moment. So my PB in Hyrox is 1 hour and 3 minutes. And
Wow.
yeah, so it's pretty similar from the duration of the race to a sprint triathlon, for example. Sprint triathlon is also around 1 hour. So this is also pretty similar. And yeah, I got into this because a friend of mine, Alex Ronchevich, he's at the moment the best Hyrox athlete in the world because he became world champion in 2024. And I already knew him from swimming when both of us were very young. And after that, we met again when we were both swimming coaches. Like I'm also a swimming coach when I'm at home. I'm giving some swimming lessons and so on. And he did that too at the same swimming pool. And he always told me, triathlon, it's a nice sport, but you're investing so much and you're getting so little out of it. why don't you do something different? Like try Hyrox. And I only knew he was doing Hyrox, but I didn't really know what exactly this was. It's a pretty new sport, I would say, but it's trending at the moment. It's getting bigger and bigger. And from his Instagram, I only saw all the time, oh, he's again on the podium and he won again and this. And so I just knew he's very successful. And whenever we met, I was, oh, you've been winning again, huh? So, yeah. And after, like, when the Olympic qualification period came to an end and when I knew that I was not selected, he told me, maybe it's time now to try something different. And I was like, you mean Hyrox, huh? And he was like, yeah. He's like, let's meet in the afternoon. It was a Tuesday, and I will show you the workouts. But because you can run already, so you just need to be able to do the workouts. And he showed me, and I was like, sounds fun or looks fun. And I asked him, okay, when is the next competition? And he said, yeah, this weekend on Saturday in Italy.
Wow.
And I was like, well, I have nothing to do at the moment.
Why
Olympics
not?
is done. Yeah, why not? If I get a ticket, I will race. And so I raced there and got third place at the first one, like without a proper training session for it and so on. I was like, well, this was really fun. I would like to do it again. So yeah, I still at that point, then I still had some, because this was at the beginning of June, I still had to do some triathlon races where I already said that I would race. So I still had to focus on triathlon, and especially for the half Ironman. So the main focus was still on triathlon, but now in autumn and winter, I did more races in Hyrox and it went better and better. So I said, okay, this is something I want to do, because in Hyrox they have this Elite 15 rule, which means the 15 fastest in the world, they get to race at a specific race all the time, where it's also about prize money and so on, and it's only for the 15 fastest. And this is something very exclusive. So I'm, on the edge to be number 15 at the moment, so almost there. So this is something I'm chasing at the moment next to triathlon, because, after 20 years only triathlon, I thought it's good to have something else to get, like, taking a little step away maybe from triathlon to be able to be more competitive again. Because if you do the same every time, your body is not responding that well anymore. So I think also this is a necessary step for me now to keep improving in triathlon. Yeah, to have something that's a little bit different. And I also already feel it right now. Like, now that I've focused in training also a little bit on Hyrox, it is something new to the body. I'm responding well also in triathlon. So I think it's for both sports. For me, it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, because it can take your mind a little bit off, but like you said, your body will experience something new. And I think high rocks can be a little bit complementary as well
Yeah.
to triathlon, because you're doing
Yeah.
strength and you still have the running there, very explosive running. As you said, if you're just doing 1K and intervals. And it sounds like fun. It sounds like
Yeah,
a lot
it
of
is.
fun.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can only recommend. Yeah, they also got a doubles category where you can do everything with a friend. So
Oh, that's
that's even
cool.
more fun. Yeah, also for beginners, I think that's a good thing. And also, as you said now, um, having something else, it's also for the mind. I think it's important. Like that, those 2 years of Olympic qualification period, it was so intense. Like it felt like there's no place for anything else anymore. So yeah, also for the mind, it's important sometimes to take a step away from something, not to get into a burnout and so on, because those 2 years, they really took everything out of me. So I really enjoy it now to have the freedom, to do a little bit different stuff again. Yeah.
Yeah. Have some fun and look at you now, almost on the top 15 in the world.
Yeah, that's
Really
nice.
cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And recovering from injuries can be really tough. I know you're out because you had a disc injury, you went through surgery. How long were you out, and what lessons did you learn from this setback, and how did you come back and stay so motivated?
Yeah. Oh, that was a tough one. Yeah. It took me 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And the main problem was that we didn't find the cause. Like I had several disc prolapses. Like my disc, it jumped or whatever, however, it slipped out and out again. Like it was one disc prolapse after the next. So And I went for surgery, and I do see this as a big mistake, and I always repeat myself there. Also because I realized also via Instagram that so many people think, okay, you go for surgery and this is the big solution. While for me, this made everything worse. So yeah, I wish I've never done the surgery, but I didn't know better at that point, and it was where we tried to fix my back problems with physiotherapy for more than a year, and then yeah, we had no success with that. Like the pain got more and more instead of getting better and better. So I was told, okay, now surgery is the only option that we have, and my personal feeling has been that the problems were not coming, like I had it in my lower back, that the problems were not coming from my lower back, but from my sacroiliac joint.
Okay.
And I told it to doctors and therapists and so on, but they all told me, no, this can't be the case. Like, there's no way that this is the problem because this can't be blocked, that it's causing troubles and so on. So I was like, I don't know, if so many people are telling me that this is not true, they should know better. So I
Yeah.
listened to them. Yeah, and I will never forget. I went for surgery, and yeah, surgery is done. You think, finally everything is better, and it was more than 2 years of pain. So I was like relieved, kind of. Oh, I'm pain free, and I can start training again as I used to. And I went for an MRI screen again, and it looked 100% the same like before. So it meant that
How frustrating.
exactly, another disc prolapse right after surgery. Plus, what made the bigger problems now is that type of surgery, it's very intense. Like they cut off that part that was slipping out. So my disc there is now much smaller than it used to. So, and everything, of course, was hurt from surgery and so on. So it took me, just to recover from surgery, it took me half a year at least. And then the problems were even bigger because everything there was very sensitive. So yeah, I kept searching, and I think during that period of time, those 4 years, I've seen more than 100 doctors and therapists, and everyone telling me, there's nothing we can do. And they told me, so many people told me, you will never be able to run again. Like, that's it. Like professional sports, of course, but also for your normal life, you won't be able to run again without pain.
Oh my
And yeah,
gosh.
I was crying a lot during those 4 years. But what helped me was I still kept training as much as I could, and that type of training that was possible at that moment. Like, it was changing so much. Like on some days I couldn't even get out of bed without help. Like I remember I had to call my mom. Luckily, she's living in the same street as I do. I had to call my mom because I was like, I can't get out of bed. I have so much pain
Wow.
that she had to come over, lift me out of my bed, holding me for a few minutes until, I don't know, it got a little bit less, and then I tried to walk with her help. On other days, I was able to swim and bike, or maybe sometimes even running in pain. And I'm saying this because when I was not training at all, I've tried everything. When I was not training at all, the pain didn't get less. I would say it got worse. So I was like, okay, not training doesn't make it better. So I try to move as much
Right.
as I can to keep my muscles strong, I don't know,
Yeah.
to help my body somehow. And yeah, then I also had days where I was like, I will never forget that. I was driving my car to the swimming pool because I wanted to go for a swim because I was all right on that day. I got out of my car and I had to lay down on the street because, again, disc prolapse, a very fresh one. Those who know the pain, that type of pain, feel me. And I was lying on the street and yeah, had to ask strangers for help because I couldn't move again. So yeah, that was heavy. And then at the end, I was so lucky because, again, per accident, someone told me, I know a very good therapist in Vienna. Go there. He's a specialist for sacroiliac joint. So after 4 years, I was, no way. Like, if this is the solution now, yeah, I was there. It was interesting because he's someone who only works in the middle of the night because he doesn't like traffic, he says. So I was there at 3 a.m. in the morning, but I was like, whatever it takes, I will go there.
That's very atypical,
Yeah.
but okay.
And yeah, he was looking at me, making some tests, and was like, yeah, I'm not surprised that you have those problems because your sacroiliac joint is severely blocked. We have to fix that, and you will see the pain is going away. So he fixed that.
No
Was
surgery.
no surgery. The joint was not blocked anymore, and it was crazy. Like it really felt like I have to learn how to walk again. Like not only
Wow.
running, because my legs, it was all so different that you really step by step, everything felt weird. But yeah, then it just took a few weeks, maybe months, because all the nerves and yeah, it was so, how do I say, it was hurt for 4 years, so it took some time to calm everything down. And after a
Yeah.
few months, no problems at all until today. So ever since then, like the first disc prolapse happened in 2018 in summer, and then in winter 2021, like at the end of 2021, I've met that therapist. And since 2021, no problems at all. So this was it. Yeah.
Wow, what a journey. I mean, I'm glad you found this doctor. It took a little bit too long, but sometimes, we have to go through those journeys to find the right person. I mean, you said you
Yeah.
went through over 100 doctors. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. It only took me or cost me a lot of money. And I'm just glad that, yeah, that I didn't listen. Like what hurt, like looking at it now, what hurt was that so many people told me you will never be able to walk again because yeah, if I would have believed them, I would have said, okay, this is it. Like, not checking or not looking for any therapists or doctors anymore and living with the pain, which would have not only meant the end of my career, but more than this, like a lot of quality in life. Like, imagine if I said, okay, there's nothing they can do about it. And I mean, I'm still like not too old. I'm still quite young, I would say. So, yeah, spending the rest of my life in pain every day because they said, yeah, this is it, and there's nothing we can do about it. This would have been, yeah, crazy. So I'm just
Yeah,
happy I never gave up. Yeah,
I'm glad too. It's just, plays a mental number on you because, I mean, no one wants to have the diagnosis you might not walk
yeah,
again, especially, I think, an athlete because
yeah,
that's your passion, it's your job. Yeah, we need to be very careful. I mean, there's amazing doctors out there, but sometimes, some
yeah,
doctors will give you a diagnosis that another doctor is willing to work with you to change that.
yeah,
So I'm glad you were able to change the outcome and you're pain free
yeah,
and super, super active. I mean, you are a machine.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. That's why I also say like never give up, no matter what. At the
Yeah.
end, yeah. I never regret it. Like if I always said no, I won't give up. I keep going. I keep searching. There must be a solution. I think that's the best advice I can give someone. Yeah, no matter what others are saying, there's always a way, and that's what I really believe. So,
I
yeah.
agree. I agree. And okay, so swim, bike, run. What's your favorite and your least favorite?
Yeah, that's the most common question I'm getting asked, and I never, I never have an answer for it. I always say if I had a favorite or a least favorite, I wouldn't do triathlon. Like as it is with kids, I always love them the same. Like you never can tell, yeah, this one I love more. Or this. And I think it changes. Like sometimes when running goes very well, of course I love running the most. And sometimes then when swimming goes very well and running, I don't know, I don't make any progress there. Or sometimes you just slow down and you don't know why. It's just part of the process. And like I don't like running, but I love swimming at the moment. So it always changes, and yeah, that's also the nice thing about triathlon, I think. Like even if one discipline doesn't go so well at the moment, or if you're injured, for example, and can't run, you still can ride your bike and go for a swim. So yeah, it's the mix of the three disciplines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, it makes sense. I
yeah,
understand your analogy with the kids. It makes sense, but I think also because you have a swim background, because a lot of triathletes are not a big fan of swimming.
yeah. That could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
With me, it's this is what I do the longest. So sometimes it is the hardest to jump into the cold water and do your swim
Oh,
session. So
yes.
yeah, but then it's also on the other side. It's like swimming is always home for me. Like yeah, I started when I was 5 years old, so it's always feels like home. Whenever I'm in the water, I feel comfortable, so this is nice. So it always has two sides. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. It's familiar, it's comfortable
Yeah.
spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you could design the ultimate triathlon course anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Definitely South Africa.
Ah,
Close to Cape Town. Yeah, yeah, besides Austria, of course, it's my favorite country. Like I love South Africa. I'm leaving for South Africa tomorrow, actually, for 5 weeks again. I always do this every year. And yeah, it would have an ocean swim, but warm water. So that would be at least difficult around Cape Town because there the ocean is pretty cold all the time. But yeah, if I can design one, it would be ocean swim, but with warm water. So no wetsuit for the swim. A very hard bike course, hilly bike course, and then a fast run, flat and fast run. Yeah. So
yeah, it's nice after you're done a swim and the bike to have a flat course. It's always helpful.
yeah, and I train a lot at home here in, I don't know if you know Prater Hauptallee. It's where
No.
Eliud Kipchoge has done his unofficial
Oh,
world
okay.
record, like the
Okay.
top two. It's a long straight, 4 kilometers long, and it's yeah just flat and good for nice and fast training sessions. And many races are there, so I train there a lot. So it's always okay, one straight, all out, not all out, but yeah, you run fast there. So I'm pretty used to this. So yeah, this would be the course I would design. Yeah.
Nice. And you are a big influencer. How do you use your platform to inspire others and especially women in endurance sports?
Yeah, like my Instagram account, the way all of this happened was per accident, I would say. Like a lot of stuff in my life. Like I just shared my experience with my weight and with the little eating and so on. Um, and there I made that what people started calling then the transformation photo. So I put the two photos of me where I was like around 80 kilograms versus then 65. And I said, yeah, and this is a difference of 6 months. And it happened by eating more, much more. Yeah, and people couldn't believe it. And this one kind of went viral. And then I had around 10,000 followers. And from that point, not only that I realized the importance of sharing experiences like this, also from the messages I received when I started to share my story, and also when I realized how many people are affected by similar problems, because we all learn, yeah, you always have to be on a diet, and so much food is forbidden, and everyone is chasing, I don't know, any sort or kind of diet, and it's all about who is able to eat the littlest or the least, and everyone, especially women, they seem to be afraid of eating, and this is something pretty sad. So when I realized how much I can help with my stories and by the messages I received, I was like, oh, this is actually a possibility for me to do something good and to help others. So yeah, I started just simply to share stories and topics that mean a lot to me and where I've learned a lot and where I felt like this might help other people as well. And yeah, once I did that, it's my account started growing and growing, and yeah, so I think it feels good to help others. So this is giving me a good feeling, and also the messages I'm giving, it means a lot. I'm receiving, it means a lot. So yeah, I think it's a nice give and take, because on the other hand, I think my community has no idea how much they have helped me in the past. Like when I'm having difficult times, and then I'm receiving so sweet messages, and like sometimes I'm just sitting there like, how do I deserve this? Like, I've done
Oh,
nothing. Yeah, I'm just actually sharing what's happening in my life. And so this is pretty sweet. And I think it's a nice give and take. Of course, it also has the negative side, social media, without any questions. And when I started, I had no idea what it means to have such a big community. That, yeah, there are not only positives, there are also some negatives, and you are losing some of your privacy if you want or not. Because also, I'm someone. I just want to be the way I am. And I think social media develops more into a direction. There are pretty strict rules of what you are supposed to post and what you should not post, and it always should fit. Yeah, I don't know how people
Yeah,
want it. Like, and this is just not this is not me. Like, I'm having troubles with that, and I said, yeah, I won't do this. I want to do what feels right to me, and I want to be how I am. And I know I will get some criticism because of this, but as long as I can get along with it, and yeah, as long as I can handle it, I will continue. But yeah, I also had, of course, times in my life where I had to take a step back, because I feel like when there's a lot going on in your life, and you're stressed and it takes a lot out of you, then I'm not able to handle everything that's happening on social media, and everything that I'm receiving, especially then the negative things as well, because people think once you start sharing your life, they have the right to get involved, and getting involved as far as they want. And I think you have always need to take care of yourself there and draw the line, and you say, okay, until here, and yeah, not any further. So this is something I had to learn over the years, but in total I would say the positives are much more. So yeah, I enjoy what I
that's
do.
good. I think social media is a great tool. Obviously, you have
Yeah,
to learn to filter and really just let in what has positive impact. I do love your account and your presence online, and kudos to you to being true to yourself and following your values
yeah,
and putting out there what it feels authentic to you. I personally don't like accounts that I see that it feels so manicured, quote
yeah.
unquote, you
Mm.
know. So it's great to see all your authenticity coming through. And no wonder, your account grew so much as you were influencing, impacting so many people. I mean, it's great to see realness.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
thank
was
you.
actually going to ask, what is the most rewarding part of being a professional athlete? I mean, I see now, obviously, that you shared that you have this big presence and you're getting a lot of nice messages to you. But is there anything else that has been rewarding in your
Yeah,
journey?
yeah, definitely the people I got to meet on this journey, and also the places I got to see. That's like insane. I mean, the negative aspect of it is, we don't have much funding in Austria for triathlon. Like, it's not that much of a not such a big sport, or has not
Mm,
so much importance. Like, for example, skiing. We are a big winter sport nation, skiing nation, of course. So yeah, we have to check on our own how to financially manage to do all of this. And especially the short distance triathlon is, yeah, it's based on a very complicated points ranking. So that means you have to race a lot. And the races are all over the world. So it's not enough if you're only traveling around in Europe. When you're from Europe, you really have to travel the whole world.
okay.
But the nice thing about it is, like, I've gotten to places I would have never seen if I haven't done triathlon. Like, I was in Zimbabwe, I was in Namibia, I've already been to Japan, China, Korea, and so on. Like, I've seen so many places of the world, and the experience you gain from it, like, of course you're there for the race. So also always it's always like, people think, okay, you travel a lot, you see the whole world, and you do sightseeing and so on. And obviously that is not the case, because you arrive, I don't know, a few days before the race, you have to recover, stay a lot of the time in your hotel room doing nothing, or your training sessions, and that's it. But yeah, sometimes maybe the plane home or to the next race goes the day after or 2 days after, and you have a little bit of time, and you always get some impression of the country. And yeah, of course, the people you meet, nice friends from all over the world. So that's a very, very nice aspect from this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I raced the 70.3 in Vietnam, and I was so bummed because, like you said, you get there, you have to get ready, and I couldn't even experience with the food because I was so afraid of getting sick.
Mm.
But from all these destinations, do you have any favorite race destination? Something, and what made it special?
Yeah, I've been lucky that I also got to race in South Africa, of course. There we are again.
I thought you were going to say that.
But also a dream come true. Only in 2024, last year, I did a race in Australia and then a little training camp there. And this has been like, so when I was a kid, I always said, I want to go to Australia one day, see the kangaroos and so on. So this was nice. But again, South Africa, because it was also there, my first international podium. So that was, yeah, that
Yeah,
I
so that's
made
a
this
special.
in South Africa. Yeah, that was pretty
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, very cool. And what's next for you in triathlon or high rocks?
Hyrox, yeah.
Any personal goals on the horizon?
Yeah, like for the 2025 season, definitely in triathlon, more middle distance, like more half Ironman racing. We'll see if the first full Ironman, I don't know. I have no idea if it's already in 2025 or just a year later, or I don't know. We'll see that, but definitely half Ironman for now. And in Hyrox, yeah, I definitely want to be in the Elite 15 soon. Maybe, I don't know yet. Maybe um, I will actually race already my first Elite 15 race at the end of January in Las Vegas. But it depends. Like, I'm just out of the Elite 15 now, but I've already heard that some of the girls in front are withdrawing for that race because of injury or I don't know, time schedule, whatever. So maybe I will be there. If not, then I will do another race and try to get the time that I need to be in the Elite 15. But yeah, we'll see. I'm just enjoying the process at the moment. Yeah, focusing on Hyrox, on the Elite 15 series and half Ironman. Yeah.
Exciting, very exciting. Well, I would love to chat with you again, maybe later on this year once you have done some more high rocks, and we can talk about that because it's growing. So, and it sounds really cool.
Yeah, it's exploding at the moment. Yeah, all the
Yeah.
events, they are sold out so quick. Yeah, because they have so many participants, so it's
Wow.
nice. And it's fun. I really can only recommend to everyone. And if they are afraid to do the first one alone, do it together in a team, like in a doubles. That's so much fun because you do the running together, but you can split the workouts. So if you're afraid that you can't do the workouts, you can do it together with a friend or family member or whatever. And then it's much easier and it's fun and it's a challenge you can face together. And also for the running, it doesn't really matter how slow you run. It's like some people are walking and that's fine. Yeah, so there's no cutoff time. So you can take your time to finish it. And yeah, the community is so sweet. Like Hyrox at the moment, maybe it's because it's such a young sport, but they have the sweetest and most supportive community. So
That's
everyone is
nice.
helping each other. So that's pretty nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you so much for your time, for sharing your journey. And, I'm going to be on the lookout for your new races and adventures.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was good fun to chat with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's all for today's episode. I want to thank the listeners for tuning in. Your support means everything. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider following, leaving a review, and sharing it with your friends.